Hey Vikings Nation, what's going on? Buckle up, because today we've got some breaking developments shaking up the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. And trust me, this one might look small on the surface, but it could have major ripple effects heading into the season. You're going to want to hear this, because here's the deal. A familiar name is gone, a new direction is forming, and the protection in front of our quarterback might be entering a critical phase. And if you care about the future of the Minnesota Vikings, this is something you cannot ignore. So stay with me until the end, because we're diving deep into what this move really means, who steps up next, and whether this offensive line can truly hold strong when it matters most. The news dropped quietly, but it hit hard. Justin Skule is no longer with the Vikings. The veteran offensive tackle has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and while it may not shock insiders, it definitely raises questions about depth and stability. At first glance, this feels like confirmation of what many fans already suspected. The Vikings were likely planning to move in a different direction, especially after how the 2025 season unfolded along the offensive front. But let's not underestimate what Skule brought to this team. He wasn't just a backup. He became a necessity when things started to fall apart. Now let's talk about the anchors of this offensive line, Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill. When healthy, these two are absolute beasts on the edges, capable of shutting down elite pass rushers. Darrisaw, even while battling injuries, continues to prove why he's one of the most respected young tackles in the league. Quiet, focused, and relentless, he's the kind of player teammates rally behind. And then there's O'Neill, the vocal leader, the experienced presence, the tone setter. Together, these two give the Vikings a foundation that many teams would envy. But here's where things get interesting. Behind those two stars, the depth chart starts to look a little shaky. And that's where Skule's departure becomes more significant. Ryan Van DeMark now steps into that OT3 role, a player the Vikings aggressively pursued from Buffalo. This wasn't a passive move, it was calculated, intentional. The front office clearly believes Van DeMark can fill the gap, but the question remains. Can he handle the pressure if called upon? Let's rewind to 2025 for a second. Skule was brought in to replace David Quessenberry, and at the time it looked like a smart, under-the-radar upgrade. He had experience, versatility, and had played solid football with teams like the 49ers and Buccaneers. Fans and analysts saw it as a low-risk, high-reward move. But what nobody expected was just how much he would be needed. Injuries started creeping in early. Darrisaw missed time, and not just briefly. It became a recurring issue throughout the season. Managing his health became a weekly concern, and eventually, the team had to shut him down before the season even ended. And when your top left tackle goes down, everything changes. That's when Skule stepped in, and he didn't just fill a role, he carried a heavy load. He logged 462 snaps at left tackle and another 116 at right tackle. That's not backup duty, that's frontline responsibility. He played in 16 games, started 9 of them, and put up a respectable performance under pressure. Now let's break down the numbers. A 65.2 overall grade, 7 sacks allowed, 6 hits and 29 pressures. Not elite, but solid considering the circumstances. And remember, he wasn't supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be insurance. Instead, he became essential. But the problems didn't stop there. The Vikings also lost confidence in Walter Rouse, which further complicated the depth situation. And then came more injuries. Ryan Kelly and Michael Juergens going down forced Blake Brandel to shift positions. Suddenly, the offensive line was a puzzle with missing pieces everywhere. So when you look at Skule's departure now, it's not just about losing a player, it's about losing a safety net. And replacing that kind of reliability isn't always easy. Financially, the Vikings had Skule on a modest $2 million deal last season. His new contract with Tampa is expected to be in a similar range. So this wasn't about money, it was about direction. The team made a choice, and now they have to live with it. Meanwhile, Skule returns to familiar territory in Tampa Bay, where he previously played from 2022 to 2024. For him, it's a homecoming. For the Vikings, it's a reset. And now the spotlight shifts to the current lineup. Darrisaw and O'Neill remain the pillars, but they'll be supported by Donovan Jackson and Will Fries inside. Jackson, in particular, is a name to watch. There's real buzz around his potential to break out. But with high expectations comes high pressure. Because let's be real, this offensive line needs to dominate. Not just survive, dominate. If they don't, all the investment, all the planning, it could go to waste. And that brings us to the future. As the 2026 NFL draft approaches, one need stands out above the rest. Center. There's growing speculation that Logan Jones could be a perfect fit in the third round. If that happens, it could solidify the interior and bring much-needed stability. But until then, there are still questions. Can this line stay healthy? Can the depth hold up? Can they protect the quarterback consistently? Because at the end of the day, everything starts up front. And if the Vikings want to compete at the highest level, this unit has to be elite. Oh, and here's something to keep in mind. The Vikings and Buccaneers are set to face each other in 2026. You already know what that means. A reunion, a test, a chance for Skule to prove something, and for the Vikings to show they made the right call. So now I want to hear from you, Vikings fans. What do you think about this move? Are you confident in the current offensive line? Or does this worry you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get this debate going. And if you love staying updated with the latest Minnesota Vikings news, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with every true Vikings fan out there. Let's keep building this community, because this season is going to be a wild ride. Skule, Purple Heart.